transportation and delivery company in the United States and internationally. We have succeeded in delivering products and packages more quickly than it has a member of the FedEx. I prepared a whole thing about FedEx. I didn't know. Must have been a typo, Eric. Thanks. TEDx. Okay. You guys deliver anything? Because I have a whole thing on shipping that I...
We deliver inspiration.
I'll get right on that. I'll get right on. What's up, guys? I say dumb things that try to make people laugh. That's my thing. I'm a comic, you know, but I try to, when I'm doing comedy, I try to say things that are important. I try to, anyway. You know, don't get me wrong, I mix in a good phallic joke here and there, but most of the time when I do comedy, I try to have a point. And a lot of times it's satirical, meaning that I take the vantage point of the people that I actually oppose. One thing about comedy and laughter is that people have to trust you. You know what I mean? You can't just walk into a room and try to tell a joke and have people all of a sudden laugh at what you're saying. You know what I mean? A friend of yours is going to have a much easier time getting a laugh out of you than a stranger, because a big part of comedy and connection and humor is likability and trust. Do you guys agree with that? Right? Now, can I get I need a volunteer to kind of, you? Yeah, great. Appreciate it. Yeah, come on up. I'm glad you're, also up here. Big hand, right around to the stairs. Great. Okay. Great demo, no big deal. Good. Just relax. Hang out. Anybody familiar with the old cream pie to the face situation? You guys seen it? Yeah. Have you seen it? No. Well, this is about experience. Life is about experiences. Very good. Don't move. People say that there are three different ways that humor is created. One of which is anticipation. We're experiencing that right now. There's surprise, the element of surprise. You know, like if a monkey was to jump out of this pipe, we'd be like, "Whoa, that's crazy," and we'd laugh, and then we'd call the animal rescue. And then let's see, what's the third one? Let's see, incongruent. You know, there's things happening like in a place where they shouldn't, or someone says something that you didn't expect. So at this point, you can hold that, so you can relax. Just hold that. There's a joke. There's a lot of jokes that I tell that push the lines, you know. But generally speaking, people believe that the brain. There's been studies on laughter and why it works and how the brain actually accepts information and then becomes a ha ha ha, right? Now, I'm going to try to remember these terms as I memorize them in the brain and not look at the notes over there. But they say that when you're telling a joke, that it begins in the the left cortex, right? And then it gets into the frontal lobe, goes into the upper right hemisphere, and then into the occipital lobe in the back. And then comes the ha ha ha. Okay? So we're going to try it. Okay? I'm going to tell a joke, all right? And we're going to watch your process, okay? Now, statistically speaking, what I'm about to tell you is the world's funniest joke. There was actually a study done, and what I'm about to tell you is, statistically speaking, the world's funniest joke. So if you don't get it, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay. Two hunters are in the woods. One man collapses and falls to the ground dead. His buddy in the woods picks up the phone and calls 911. And he says, I don't know what to do. My buddy just died in the woods. The 911 operator says, calm down. First thing you got to do is make sure he's dead. The guy says, all right, hold on a second. The operator hears a bang, goes back to the phone and says, okay, what next? You did it. Your brain worked exactly right. Good for you. Did you feel it? It started here. And it went right into this region. Did you feel that? And boy, and then boom, and then ha, ha, ha. Isn't that something? Do you want to put that pie in my face? Don't do that. Don't do that. Guys, big hand. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. The uniting factor that we're now experiencing, of course, is humor and laughter. You know, when she and I laugh together, we create a bond, right? That's how it goes. And to me, that's kind of the point. Like, what's the point of me standing up here talking to you about what makes you laugh? What were the origins of the human reaction to laugh? And there's actually been lots of studies on this. And I guess there's some purpose to it. You know, I'm a person, when I look at like what the government is spending money on, I would go, there's a lot of sick people out there. Why do we care? It just happens. But you know, the fact of the matter is humans can actually heal with laughter. You know, there's studies that show that laughter creates stress relief. And we all know that stress creates a whole lot of illnesses, right? So if we can make each other laugh a little bit more, make that human connection, then we'll start to get along a little bit better, globally. You know, and thanks to the internet, the world is becoming a much smaller place. Because there's a lot of hatred in this world, and I think a lot of that, I always say in my routines, that ignorance breeds hatred, okay? If you've never known somebody of a given origin, a given ethnicity, religion, then you're much more likely to be able to hate that person. I was born in Iran. You guys still okay? Anybody want to go? See, but that's what the media has done to us. Because many of you don't have a personal friend that's from the Middle East. You know what I mean? Because those stereotypes are ingrained into our minds because the media says everybody over there is crazy, everybody over there is violent, because that gets them the ratings that they're seeking. When Abbas was up here, don't get me wrong, I was looking for the nearest exit. He's a scary-looking guy. But then you get to know him, there's a likability, maybe one day you'll get on an airplane with him, no time soon, but I'm saying eventually.
That was funny.
Make things weird. It's part of what I do. You gotta. A lot of times, when I first started doing stand-up, I did a lot of stuff, a lot of bits on being Iranian, from the Middle East, whoa, Islam, all that stuff, you know. Because it was easy for me. It was close to my skin. I started pushing it out of the set as I started to develop more material that didn't have to do with the Middle East. And then I started putting it back in again. Why did I do that? It's because of what I said a moment ago. It's because ignorance breeds hatred. I could do this whole setup here or wherever I'm at if I'm doing a comedy show, and I could do it and never mention where I was born, right? But what I'm intending to do is say to people, hey, I'm Iranian. Did you ever meet one before? And then you didn't die after we met. Nothing blew up, right? And then you have an association that's positive with somebody that you might never have met before. You know, I do shows all over the country, and there are certain towns where there's nobody from the Middle East at all. Are there any Middle Easterners in here right now? There you go. There you go, right? I've met one other Iranian in Stafford. My son. He's been Iranian since he was born. Now, I feel that association is really important. But I also use it a lot of times because there's a tension, but then when there's an association, I say quite frequently, you know, like I said a moment ago, that people think that people from the Middle East are violent, you know, or oppressive. Like, I've been married to an American woman for 11 years, you know, and she'd be the first to disagree with you if I allowed her to have her own opinions. You got... Which obviously I'm kidding. That's a satirical, you know, on a stare. My wives are very happy people, I want you guys to know. So where did laughter start? Why do we laugh? You know? They believe that it actually started as a reaction to relief from danger or it's just a tense situation. Because globally, think about it. You don't laugh. Given cultures don't laugh differently than another one. We're all some variation of a he, ho, ho, ho. Laughter is universal, right? I mean, there are some areas of the world where they laugh more, more shyly or in different, a little more humility. Some a little more boisterous. Sense of humors can vary. There are actually only a few species, so to speak, on Earth that laugh or have some kind of a reaction that's like laughter. Humans, rats, other primates like chimps, and politicians. Did I already say rats? I said rats. Good night, everybody. That's mic drop. That's what I did. Which is interesting, You can't make your dog laugh. They see happiness. But why did humans create this thing? You guys know what I'm saying? If we could expose people in the Middle East, if you could expose people of opposing countries to laughter, I bet you, based on absolutely no research whatsoever, that we would have a much easier time keeping peace. Sometimes people keep to their own ethnicity or to their own religion or their own whatever it is. The more you get out and expose yourself to more and more things, the less ignorant, so to speak, the less hate you're even going to be capable of. Because now you know somebody like that. I actually have 3 little kids, and I try to enforce that upon them at all times. I tell them there's all kinds of ways of happiness in this world. There's no one way to it. And I think that's why my 9-year-old, one day, he was eating his pancakes with his bare hands, and I said, Freddie, you've got to use a fork and knife. And he said, Dad, this is my way of living. We all have our own ways of life. So I got him a beer, and I was like, Freddie, you're way past pancakes, brother. Because he's right, though. I could take him over to Ethiopia and show him, yes, people do, culturally speaking, eat with their bare hands in certain parts of the world, and that's perfectly acceptable. There's all kinds of ways of life. 2 of my best friends are gay men who just adopted a couple of kids, and I want to take them over to show them there's another way to have a family. There's another way to have love. There's not one way. I want my kids to know there are people in this world that don't shower every day. They don't have dental care to take care of their teeth. Personal appearance is not at the forefront of everyone's mind, so I take them to NASCAR events so that they understand these freaks are out there. Okay? It's a tough joke to pass in Stafford County. What'd you say, boy? Hey, what you do, man? You got to get out there. You got to meet people. You got to know people. People are going to make different choices. It's up to each one of us to create a happiness within each day that we're in. And anyway, here's my closing thought. Groucho Marx, one of my comedic idols and one of the greatest comic minds of our time, once said, and I'll paraphrase a little bit. He said, "Yesterday is dead. Tomorrow's yet to come. I have but one day, and I choose to be happy in it," which I think is a brilliant quote. So guys, if you get a chance, exchange a giggle with somebody that you're unfamiliar with. You know what I mean? Take your kids to somebody's house that's culturally different from your own. I think it's going to open minds, create some laughter, and hopefully bring a little more peace. Thanks, you guys.